Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sport on Global Television. I am Samuel Odi. Yes, we are going to talk about lots of football and lots of basketball today, and we're starting up from a very interesting news. A former Super Eagles defender, Tai Taiwo, has now been inducted into the Hall of Fame of Olympias Marseille. That's the super exciting news, and football fans worldwide have taken to their social media to celebrate former Super Eagles defender Tai Taiwo's induction into Olympias Marseille's prestigious club of legends. The 39-year-old made 271 appearances for the French club between 2005 and 2011, scoring 25 goals with 23 assists, joins an elite group of footballers including Sami Nasser, Lori Kana, Mahmoud Nengi, Fabrice Ravelli, and as well as Paulo in the Marseille's Hall of Fame. The left back enjoyed a trophy-led spell with the French side, helping the club win League One titles, League Cup, and as well as the French Super Cup League before departing for AC Milan in 2011. Known for his powerful left foot and attacking powers from defense, Taiwo quickly became a fan favorite as he stayed for the drum, where his thunderstorm free kick and long-range strikes earned him cult status among the Marseille's faithfuls. This is super interesting for Taiwo, who at least around 2013 thereabout, that was when he left AC Milan and then said goodbye totally to football. Super exciting for him that he has been inducted into the Hall of Fame. We could remember during his era with John Mikel Obi in the Super Eagles, and also how they all contended and battled so hard with the likes of Lionel Messi whenever they have to come to a clash. And also he was also an African Cup of Nations champions winner. So I'm super excited for Tai Taiwo. At this level, he was able to keep a mark and then made a mark for himself, and now he has been recognized. This is very legendary for a Nigerian to be able to represent and to be inducted to a Hall of Fame. This is great news for Nigeria sports fans worldwide are excited, and someone like Tai Taiwo, who has always been on it, giving back to the society on and off the pitch, and also giving back to the country on and off the pitch. This is super exciting. Talk Sport is excited for him. Global Television are excited for him, and we all say congratulations to Tai Taiwo. And moving away, let's have a little bit of conversation around basketball, where Nigeria is set to battle Canada, China, Portugal in the Under-19 World Cup qualifiers. Nigerians Under-19 World Women's Basketball, also known as the Junior Tigers, have been drawn in Group B of the 2025 FIBA Under-19 Women's World Cup in Czech Republic, where they will face Portugal, Canada, and China. The draw was conducted in the host country early hours of today, and the tournament will be played from the July the 12th to the 20th, 2025. USA, Israel, Hungary, and Korea made up the Group A, while Australia, France, Brazil, and Mali in the Group C made up Group C, while Group D has the host Czech Republic, Spain, Japan, and as well as Argentina. To qualify for the tournament, which will make their maiden appearance at the world stage, the Junior Tigers finished runners-up at the last year Under-18 Women's Afro Basketball and have a second chance to make their Under-19 Women's Basketball debut in Brno, Czech Republic. Now, you could remember a couple of weeks ago, the Commissioner of Sports, Shehu Diko, made a statement and saying if grassroots basketball or sports generally is not being paid attention to and is not being improved by the sporting agencies and sporting coaches, that means there's a whole lot that wouldn't be done when it comes to international sporting event for all of these up-and-coming athletes. So he was very specific about the fact that we need to take care of business at home. And then last year, we saw these ladies performing well in the African stage and now making it through to the world stage. This is all part of what Shehu Diko is saying, and it's super exciting for these young lads to be able to go and represent Nigeria in an international stage. Looking at it, they lost their Afro basketball tournament just to a point, and that shows how much work these ladies had to put and going all the way through to the finals and not just clinching the title. So it shows that they are ready to take on the world stage. And then looking at the group that they are in now currently, I think this the Tigress, the junior Tigress, would be able to scale through that group and then make it all through to the finals. And then we are hoping that the coaching staff and preparations have been made or is still being in process, so that we wouldn't have issues that we usually have with the Super Eagles and saying late arrival to camp and not having enough facilities or equipment that would be able to require these players get into shape to compete in the world stage with other compatriots. So looking at all of this now, the Commission of Sport have actually paying more attention to grassroots basketball, football, boxing, and every other sport. Cricket even, that just concluded, we witnessed under 19 ladies doing us great at Malaysia and coming back home in second position, first time ever getting to that stage. Because if you can remember, earlier last year they came in third position in the All-African Games, clinching the bronze medal, first time ever going to that stage, and then going to the world stage again, coming very, very close to the World Championship, first time. So it shows that there's so much work that needs to be done, and work is being done, and then with improvements, all of these ladies, both from cricket, under 19, and as well as basketball, will keep soaring higher as we tend to see them, make a very great mark for Nigeria. So this is super interesting. Let's move away from basketball and then talk a little bit of football, where the Super Eagles have gotten dates for Rwanda and Zimbabwe World Cup qualifiers. The date for the first two of the remaining 2026 World Cup qualifiers matches for the Super Eagles have been confirmed. Nigeria will travel to Rwanda on the March 21st before returning home for the second leg of the encounter against Zimbabwe. Work begins for Eric Chelle. First two games as the Super Eagles head coach will be crucial for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Rwanda away and Zimbabwe at home in March. Let's go, Super Eagles. This is what fans are saying already. But the main senior team shared all of these, that the two opponents are familiar with the Super Eagles, having met Rwanda twice during the 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifiers. The Area held Nigeria to a goalless draw last September from scoring a 2-1 win over Nigeria in Uyo in the last game of the AFCON qualifiers in November. Looking at all of this now, the Super Eagles are not actually new to these guys. They are not new to Zimbabwe. They are not new to Rwanda. And the Rwandan guys, cheaters, almost stand in the way between Nigeria and qualifying for the African Cup of Nations. So now there's so much work that needs to be done, understanding the pattern of the Super Eagles. That is the job of the current coach, Eric. And then we are hoping that he will understand the timing and then also bring in his own perspective, his own philosophy, and his own idea, his own tactics on how to, overcome and then win these matches, because these two matches are very, very crucial. And most of these young lads have not been able to represent Nigeria in the World Cup. So this is an opportunity for them to go and do that. So a whole lot of Nigerians and fans worldwide are banking on the Super Eagles and also looking at the coach to see if he's going to solidify his job as the coach of the Super Eagles, and also the Nigerian players that have been doing so well in the Premier League, European League, Galatasaray, the Turkish League, and also the Saudi League, will be looking at how well they'll come back home and perform. Looking at the fact that most of these guys playing for the Super Eagles as we speak are the forerunners of their team. And whenever they are not around, we tend to see the team either struggle to get a draw or even sometimes sadly tend to lose the games without the presence of most of these key players playing in the Super Eagles, talking about Victor Boniface, talking about Victor Osimhen, talking about Ademola Lookman, talking about Wilfred Ndidi, even talking about Samuel Chukwueze. So all of these great guys are actually doing so well in their club sides, and then we will be expecting to see the same level of momentum when these qualifiers and when we even get to the World Cup. So that is all we are expecting from them, though there's a lot of work that needs to be done. The cheaters and the Zimbabweans are not going to be an easy nut to crack, but we're hoping with the quality that we have in the Super Eagles, this shouldn't be, a very hard note to crack. So we'll be keeping our fingers crossed, and then we are waiting the dates for when the Super Eagles will start resuming camp and then travel to Rwanda and also get back to Nigeria to face Zimbabwe in the Godswill Akpabio Stadium, Uyo. Yes, so let's talk about transfers and others moving and others blocking players from moving. Talking about Leicester City have blocked Wilfred Ndidi's League One move. Leicester City successfully blocked Wilfred Ndidi's proposed loan move as ASK Moscow, with the Premier League strugglers unwilling to lose the Nigerian midfielder during their relegation battle. The French club had tabled an 18 million loan offer with a 2 million pounds added an obligation to buy the 28-year-old midfielder, but the Foxes have rejected the approach. All of this has said that Ruud van Nistelrooy's side considered Ndidi too important to leave in the middle of the season as they fight for the Premier League survival. The Nigerian international, who recently returned to training following a thigh injury sustained in December 2024, has made 15 Premier League appearances this season, providing 4 assists despite his limited playing time due to fitness issues. Like I rightly mentioned, most of the Super Eagles players are actually key players of their club sides, and then this is also showing why Ruud van Nistelrooy, who was once a player and now a coach, is actually not letting Wilfred Ndidi go, because of the fact that he knows how important and how crucial he is to the team. Just like when they were playing in the Championship, Eris Maresca, when he was still the coach of Leicester City, he knew how crucial and how important Wilfred Ndidi was for them to be able to get into the Premier League. Looking at the fact that they suffered after winning the Premiership, they actually went down to relegation and then totally deserting and then leaving the Premier League. But now they thought all of this now was attributed to the hard work that Wilfred Ndidi had to put in. So ASK Moscow have been on this same case of getting Wilfred Ndidi for over 2 seasons now, but still the Fox are still not willing to let him go, given the fact that they have something very, very key, and there is a very simple and crucial role that he plays in that DM, in that defensive midfield position that he always plays at. Just a couple of weeks ago, coming back from injury, and then he has been able to provide 4 assists despite the limited time. So it shows how important and how vital his role is for Leicester City. But we'll be going on a very quick break, and then when we get back, we'll be having conversations around transfers and also the absence of some players and how it's affecting the team's performance. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. Yes, many thanks for staying with us. Now we are going to talk about players' absence. Ademola Lookman, and Ademola Lookman's absence has, led Bologna send Atalanta out of the Coppa Italian League. That's also Santiago Castro emerged as the hero for Bologna, netting the decisive goal in their 1-0 victory over Atalanta. This was a titan contested Coppa Italia, I beg your pardon, quarterfinal earlier this week, where the 20-year-old Argentine forward, introduced as a substitute, made an immediate impact by heading the free kick delivered in the 80th minute. This triumph makes Bologna's first advancement to the Coppa Italian semi-final since 1999, sitting up as the Bologna and Atalanta, and also a very, very tight game between Barcelona and as well as Atalanta. All of these will have been attributed to the absence of Ademola Lookman. All of this due to injury worries, not because he doesn't want to play. He does want to play, but injury worries have been a massive concern for him, and he hasn't been able to represent his team and get back to the pitch to play. So this still boils down to the same fact you're saying. We've seen it with Leicester City, where Van Nistelrooy, who is the head coach of Leicester City, he's not even letting Wilfred Ndidi go based on the fact that he plays a very crucial role. Now, the absence of Ademola Lookman is showing a negative impact as well on Atalanta, as they have been struggling from all of their matches. This game now was played in their home, and then a substitute came in, a 20-year-old came in and then had the opening for a decisive header which put his own team in front. With all of these issues now, with all of this current change, now they have actually they are no longer the defending champions of striker issues, just like Arsenal. But now West Ham are looking to solidify that, and then hoping to see that they will be able to solve out all of these problems. The deadline day was a disappointing one. Talking transfers now, or one for West Ham on the pitch, as they slipped to a 2-1 defeat at Chelsea, but they did manage to get a new face through the door after losing Marca Antonio and Nicolas Franco to injury. A new striker was top of the agenda, and the Irons achieved their goal as they brought in Evans Ferguson on loan from Brighton after bursting into the scene on the south coast. Ferguson has endured a frustrating 12 months due to a loss from they finish, and I know most of these teams are actually struggling to see if they can make it through to the Champions League. We've seen Aston Villa, how crucial they are. They are also having the same challenge, and then getting Marcus Rashford into their squad on loan from Manchester United is something that's also going to help, solidify and help the attacking force. So looking at all of those angles now, I think they would be able to, manage the situation and see how the 60 million deal for Oli Watkins, and even Chelsea's former striker Morata, as he went on to Galatasaray. Mikel Arteta admitted his disappointment at Arsenal as failures to land a striker in the January transfer window following Gabriel Jesus' ACL injury in the FA Cup third round defeat by Manchester United last month. The Gunners have secured around to sign a forward. It's an era that they are desperate in, having already lost Bukayo Saka to a hamstring injury. He is expected to return in the late March, in the last month, maybe last week, or some persons have argued that he's actually going to return in the first week of April, but doctors are still yet to tell us when he's going to return fully. As a result, a number of players were pushed, including Oli Watkins and Alvaro Morata, but the North London club were unable to bring in a player, which leaves them short-handed of a massive second half of the season, starting with a Carabao Cup semi-final second round against Newcastle at James Park, as they are seeking to overturn the 2-0 deficit from the first leg at the Emirates on January the 7th to win the first major domestic trophy since 2020. Arteta said, "We had a clear intention, which is a window open to explore the opportunities to improve our squad with players that can impact the game. So we're looking at it now. If you could remember, in the month of January 7th, Newcastle defeated Arsenal 2-0 in their home, and all of this now has been attributed to the fact that Arsenal don't have a kill striker. Yes, Arsenal don't have a kill striker. The person who even helps push the attack now has been out and is looking to come back by March. Talking about Bukayo Saka, who has been pushing the attack for a very long time. Havertz is not a natural born striker. So with all of this now, we're seeing, though they won 5-1 against Manchester City, would revamp, and then next season they would be able to say that yes, Chelsea would be able to contend for championship. Chelsea would be able to contend for championship, and because of the fact that this season Enzo Maresca says Chelsea is not contending for any championship, but still fans are not happy with that statement, as well as the players. So all of this, we saw Chelsea doing well at some point, almost the number one position. We hope that from next season, as Enzo Maresca is watching out, and then revamping the team. He hopes to have the back front and also have the goalkeepers' errors being corrected, so as next season, as he says, they'll be contending for the trophies. We'll see next season, as he says, they'll be contending for the trophies. We'll see how far Chelsea would be able to go. So we'll be going on another quick break. And then when we come back, we'll be having conversations around a massive trade that happened in the world of basketball. We'll be talking a bit of the NBA after this break. Stay with us. Yes, like I already mentioned before we went on the break, we are going to be having a big conversation around the transfer that happened in the NBA, and it's just very, very wild, and a lot of fans have reacted differently. And you might be wondering, or you might know what I'm about to talk about. Yes, I'm talking about the Luka Doncic and the Anthony Davis trade. Trading Luka Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks, to the Lakers and then Los Angeles Lakers, and also trading Anthony Davis from the Lakers to Dallas Mavericks. Now, I know you're all smiling, and this is very, very, very funny. As it stands now, who, for me, in my own opinion, I feel Mavericks actually won this trade, but I also feel that they won and they lost at the same time. Yes, because you can't trade a 25-year-old who is in his prime, talking about Luka Doncic now, who is arguably one of the best scorers in the NBA, to a team like the Lakers. So now, I think the people that won in the long run now, the people that won in this trade in the very long run now, looking at it now futuristically, I would say Lakers won. Because one, LeBron James, the team was built around LeBron James. LeBron James is 40 years old. Currently, he's not having a championship team. That means his team can't get to the playoffs and win the NBA trophy. That's not going to happen anytime soon with the current squad he has. So now, they traded Anthony Davis to the Mavericks. Now, the Mavericks have Kyrie Irving, they have Klay Thompson, and now they have a big guy who is Anthony Davis. But the problem now with Anthony Davis is he doesn't always show up when you need him to show up. To the best of my memory, I would say the last time Anthony Davis showed up for a team and carried the team was in 2020 when they played in the finals against Miami Heat in the bubbles. I think that was the last time he showed up for me, dropping around 50 points in the game. 36 points, 20 points, and 40 points in that platters now. The Dallas currently, they have a very good squad. We'll get into the Lakers and then their futuristic plan. Now, Dallas have a big man in the person of Anthony Davis. One, they have a very good guard who is Kyrie Irving, who does what he does. And then they have Klay Thompson, who got traded from Golden State Warriors to the Dallas. Now they have a power league who can now control. And each of these guys can drop for you. Kyrie Irving can drop you 50 points a night. Klay Thompson can drop you 50 points a night. Anthony Davis on a normal day can also drop you 36 to 40 points a night. So the other role players can just come in and do what they do, get rebound, give assist, and also, get to score a couple of points when they have the opportunity to do that. Now, is the Dallas Mavericks now a championship team? From my own point, I think they are, because they have great guys. So, talking about the trade now, about Luka leaving the Dallas Mavericks. He was there and then he took this team to the NBA playoffs and then went through to the NBA finals, and then, Boston did what they did. Drew Holiday and Jason Tatum, then knocked them off in Game 5 of the NBA playoffs. So all of these things now are actually very nice for them, but he is still in his prime, and then he's young. He's only 25. He can be able to do so much more. Now let's talk about the Lakers and their futuristic plan. Looking at the Lakers now currently, you can agree with me that the whole squad, the whole Lakers organization has been built around LeBron James ever since Kobe Bryant left, retired, and then sadly the wicked hands of death took him. So the whole team has been built around LeBron James. They had plans to build a team around Anthony Davis, but injury worries happened, and Anthony Davis is not always showing up when they need him to show up as a big guy that he is. We can see the way the Philadelphia Sixers built their team around Joel Embiid, and despite his injuries, he was able to still show up and then perform, and then got the team all through to the playoffs last season. But now, let's leave Joel Embiid's story for now. We are still going to have a conversation about the big guy. So talking about Anthony Edwards now, the plan for Anthony Edwards was for him to, fill in the shoes of LeBron James, given the fact that he's 40, but injury worries is another concern, and he's not always showing up when he needs to show up. When they need the team for him to carry the team, he's not that guy. Now they brought in Luka. Luka has been carrying Dallas Mavericks from the very first instance that he got there, getting them to the playoffs every year. At some point, he even had to drop 77 points so as to make sure that his team went all through to the playoffs. So he is someone like that, build around the younger guy in the person of Luka Doncic, and then see how in the next couple of years the Lakers will be able to win a championship. Can they win that now? Currently they can't. Obviously they can't. We have LeBron James who is 40. Yes, he has experience and all, but now he's going to pass it down to Luka. And you all know that GM, that's what he's probably called. He's always called LeBron James now has always said that Luka Luka is his favorite player currently in the NBA. So you now have a bunch of younger guys. We have Bronny James, who was in the G League. Now he's back to the NBA and then playing under the mentorship of his father. Now you have a guy like Luka, who is now, you know, in the Lakers team. He was present in their game against LA Clippers where they won 122 to 109, and then he didn't play. He sat on the bench and he watched. It was an amazing game. Bronny James dropping his first ever 3-point game against their team rival in LA. So this is just super amazing how far. And I would think that LeBron James should be traded because he has like a year or two, at tops 3 years, to remain in the NBA. It's going to be best for him to go back to like Ohio, Cleveland, where he has a team with Donovan Mitchell, where they can be able to figure it out and again win a match. So not just win a match, because the Cavaliers have been winning matches, and then win a title. I think that is going to be best. But now Lakers don't have a big man, so can they scale through the playoffs, which is going to be soon without a big man? I'm not sure about that is going to happen, because immediately after the celebrity game, the second stage of the game of the season is always very intense. This is a battle of who is going to make it to the playoffs and then contend for the NBA, the O'Brien Trophy. So this is something that is actually what the Lakers are actually working towards, and then it's actually looking good for them, because at the long run they are actually going to make much benefits out of those. And then at this point, I think LeBron James needs to be traded so they can start that work before it gets very late. And then obviously at this point they are going to lose lots of matches, but that is not going to be expected, because you can't have a LeBron James on the team and a Luka Doncic on the team and not win games. So now they need a big man. So where will they take position to? We have seen the Suns talk about, you know, trying to get Kevin Durant out down to Brooklyn, but I'm not certain that is going to happen, because Golden State Warriors are also demanding to get him back. If you remember, you know, just after the season last year, Draymond Green says, for